Hey, it's Walter from the Blu-Grit Garage. I'm trying to gather all my junk parts and make sure they're all compatible with each other. Got an old 9-inch center section, a 389 gear. I got to put a limited slip. It's an open. It's not going to go too good. Oh, we're trying to enter a Maverick in the 2024 No Name Nationals this September. And I've got this junkyard 9-inch. It's actually from like a 1980, 82, something like that. Ford Granada. I think Mercury Monarchs had it. Back in the early 80s, I guess Ford was just trying to get rid of their parts. You know, they came out with the 8.8. So this is a beefier housing right here. I guess it's it's like the truck housing, but they put them in 6-cylinder Granadas. You know, I used to go looking under the junkyard and get them. This one had been sitting in the dirt for a long time, so the bottom was pretty severely pitted. A friend of mine Mark welded up a plate, an 1/8-inch plate across the bottom. That's going to be on another video. So what I'm doing is I have a bunch of loose axles, and I'm trying to find out which axle goes with, you know, with this. One's normally shorter. The driver's side is shorter. The passenger side's longer, obviously. But what I'm trying to do is here's spider gears, and you have your cross pin shaft. I want to make sure the axle goes in deep enough but doesn't really hit the shaft. So I put some. I tried different things. I tried shoe polish to see, you know, if the shoe polish got rubbed off on the gears here. This is a 28 spline. The Ford's 9 inches also had 31, but this is just a 28 spline. I tried shoe polish. I tried grease. I couldn't really get a good read on it. I tried rubber bands, and now I got to go pull the rubber band off in there because it came off. So what I did here is I put duct tape, and I wrapped duct tape around the axle tube. I want about 1.25 inches or something like that penetration, or engagement I should say. So I wrapped the tape for 1 inch, and then I put the axle in to see if it scoot the duct tape back, and to make sure I have, you know, any more than say a little over 1.25 inches, any more it's going to possibly hit the cross pin shaft like I said before. So this is test number 4. And I did shoe polish. I did grease first, shoe polish second, masking tape, but it kind of didn't stick too well. Rubber bands, and now I got some heavy-duty duct tape. You always have to use duct tape. So when you put these axle shafts in, this is, you know, I'm changing the seal, I'm changing the bearings. I want it kind of all new on the end. You do have to kind of put some oil to slide the bearing in and clean off the surface, because it'll bind up. It's kind of hard to get these in and out. It's a pretty tight fit, but you don't want it tighter with rust. But like I said, if you've got a seal you want to save, you know, if it's a good seal and you're just kind of pulling axles out, make sure you take some gear oil and rub it up and down the axle, so that, and put a little bit on the seal, so that when you're dragging it in, if you do touch it, you're not wearing out your seal, you know, prematurely. So, and then I always use a rubber mallet. I saw somewhere, and I tried lining it up, I saw somewhere where you're supposed to have 1.25 inches or something space in between, and I'm kind of concerned because I laid this up and it looked like I had more than that. That's why I want to see if I don't want the axles so short that you only, you know, go in maybe 1/2 inch and then it'll just strip the splines, you know. So that's why I wanted to see about the engagement. So you see it kind of popped down on the seal, so that's why I say always put a little grease on the seal. But this is, I'm changing the seals on this anyway. It looked like it did push the tape down here, so I don't know if this pulled back. It's kind of cattywampus. But I mean, it's fairly good engagement. I got an 1/8 inch less right here. And then when you drive these in, the bearings usually stick out just a little bit. It's about the thickness of your backing plate when you put the brakes on. So if you tap it in and you see an 1/8 inch or something, that's not a problem. The only problem I have is if I see it's an 1/8 inch in now and put the 1/8 inch backing plate, it's almost a 1/4 inch. And the other thing I'm worried about, hold on a second, is which spider gears do I have? This one's pretty thick, and then this one doesn't have much meat there. So I'll have to go stick my finger in there and find out if I have the thick one or the thin one. I guess this one might be for a limited slip and this one's not. Oh, and then also junkyard axles. If you look, this axle's thick and it kind of tapers down right here. Some of the Mustang's axles I've seen taper down, then they get thick up here. You don't want to run those in the drag strip. They just bend. You'll have all kinds of, you know, ugly going on there. So hope that helps. Just check the engagement, and it looks like the tape worked better. Like I said, don't try the rubber band. I thought, oh, the rubber band, and zip ties, the head of the zip tie catches when it goes in, so it's always going to give you a false reading. But the rubber bands fall off in there. Masking tape didn't work so good. Grease and that I couldn't really tell, but the duct tape seemed to work better. So I hope that helped with that little bit of tech there. And if you can, we appreciate it if you could hit subscribe, help us out. We're not quite halfway there for the 500 subscribers required for the No Name Nationals. And you know, if you're in Sykeston, Missouri, the weekend of I think it's like September 19th or something like that. It's I think Thursday night's a cruise night, then Friday they have drag racing. Then there's a burnout contest Friday night, then there's drag racing Saturday. So if you're down in the Sykeston area, you know, look up No Name Nationals, and it's Skelton Motorsports Park. It used to be called Jeffers Motorsports Park. It's right off of 55 by Sykeston. So, you know, come on down, check us out and check everybody else out. There's a guy, Junkyard Willie, and I believe he challenged me. I got to double check on that. There was somebody else, so I gotta make sure I got something running down there. If it's not this, I'll find something else. But can't run them without the 500 subscribers. So I'd appreciate it, and the people that did subscribe, thank you very much. And I guess that's it. Hey, it's Walter again. I always like double checking, so this time I kind of did the math thing to see how much engagement I have on the splines. And so I took the axles and I stuck them in the housing. They're seated. And then I had a straight edge here. You got to make sure what side of the bolt. So I went on this side of the bolts, and I measured the axles protruding with the thickness. Need 2 hands or 3 hands. With the thickness of the straight edge and all that, it sticks out about almost a ½ inch. And then I went on the inside here again, and that pretty much the axle lines up. So basically I'm measuring the bolts on the housing, and then I come up here and I transferred the dimensions here. So I stuck a tape measure till it bottomed out against the cross shaft, pulled it back out, and I had 4 1/4 inches. I put a straight edge here, measured the 4 1/4 inches, and then I got the dimension here, hit the cross shaft, pulled it out. It's basically, I think it's 2 7/8. So I took it and I measured the 2 7/8, and basically where the spiders are, the end of the spiders are here and here, the 2 inside marks, and the axles penetrated here and here for what we measured there. So it's about a ½ inch here and a little less than a ½ inch there. So, which means I came up this way, basically a ½ inch here and a little more, a little less or whatever, ½ inch here. So pretty much where you see the wear marks, these are the correct axles that go with it. So after going through my pile, I found something that'll work. And as a double check, I measured 2 1/2 inches space between the axles, and you can see 2 1/2 inches there from this point and this point here. That's the space between the axles. So I'm pretty happy with what, you know, you're never going to engage the whole amount, and that's pretty much factory, I would say. So I think I'm good with the axles. I shouldn't embarrass myself and twist the tips off, because if you only have, you know, if it's the opposite way and you only had a ½ inch engagement, you know you're going to shear that right off. So it looks like, with the wear pattern, it looks like these are, you know, this side you can see has a little more engagement than here, so that measures up here. So I think we're good. thank you very much, and hope it's worth your while. Like I said, always double and triple check. So thank you very much.